Good morning, Adam Mesh of the Adam Mesh Trading Group over there for T3. Adam, this guy's got a perma smile. You got a smile there. Just real quick, I'm going to bore Dennis. I'm going to bore Ryan. I'm going to bore our chat. But you know what the key to Michigan football is for the remainder of the season?
A quarterback?
Yes. And they are saving Jack Tuttle. Okay. This is his 7th year playing ball. Okay. His 7th year in college. I mean, I got to college in 4 years. I think Sharon Moore is saving him. We got a lot of season ahead of us. I don't know if he's going to break him out at Washington. It's a tough place to play. But you just keep looking for Jack Tuttle. But let's move on to the markets here. Adam Mesh Trading Group. Adam, we had Mr. Powell yesterday. We had a nice end of the quarter rally. Do you have any trading strategies for the end of the quarter, new month, or what's on your radar?
First of all, I'll say I heard it here first if he does emerge as the quarterback. So thanks. We need one. In terms of, I don't have end of the quarter strategies. I'm pretty consistent with what I'm going to do, which is collecting premium throughout the year. I could talk about where I've been using those strategies, and it's nice. This is my 4th or 5th time on here, so it's like hopefully people get to know me a little bit and they see what I'm doing. Collecting credits has still been working. A couple of new sectors I got interested in. Nuclear. When we saw the Constellation Energy news with 3 Mile Island opening, there were a lot of stocks that got a pop on that haven't come back down, and the volume's still coming in. And for anyone that didn't hear what was going on, I mean, when we think nuclear, we think bad. We think natural disasters. But apparently nuclear is the most efficient and best way for the environment of harnessing energy. And they're going to use it for data centers. So I've been watching these nuclear stocks to see if we get that follow-up move. And it's the same thing. The last time I was on, remember we were talking about ASTS in the teens. And I was like, I can't stop watching it. And the thing went to 35. It's that same thing when you get a swell of volume, the news dies down, but the volume doesn't. It sets up for a second bigger move. So I'm watching nuclear stocks for that right now, which is...
What was the symbol on the
ASTS, Alpha Sierra Tango Sierra.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Give us some of these nuclear stocks that you're looking at.
So CEG Constellation was the leader, but then we made a list of other ones that could follow up. And the one that I've been watching the most, and I'm not saying to trade it right now, it's crazy, is SMR, New Scale Power. It's an $11 stock that's moving 2 points a day. So it gets my attention. But it's the same strategy with everything, buying calls. This one you can't sell premium, and this one's a little bit harder to trade. I might trade it as a stock. I've been trading it as a stock because the options are kind of gapped out. But my typical approach is to come in around selling options going out 30 to 40 days, targeting the 30 delta. So if you were selling a naked put, and that naked put doesn't mean getting short naked. Naked put means willing to own the stock. If you're selling a naked put, you would target probably the 25 delta. But when we're doing credit spreads, because people don't want to own the stocks, we get a little bit more aggressive to offset the lack of premium collection from, doing credit spreads versus naked. Does that make sense? Sometimes I talk fast.
Yep.
No, it does.
I want to make sure, for your audience, I just want to make sure I'm not.
Yeah, they love the options talk.
Yeah.
So what other plays here?
All right. So my best play recently, and this is the benefit of why I build a community. It's literally mutually beneficial. It's just like being on here. We're talking, sharing ideas. So it was someone in my community was like, keep an eye on NEO. This was pre-China going ballistic and everything.
Right.
NEO was at 5 and change. So I was like, all right, volume looks good. And we bought a $5 November 15 strike for like $1. And literally in less than 2 weeks, those options were trading at 240. So was that like 140% return in 2 weeks? So that's like when you could get in and literally only risk $1 per contract, knowing that's the most you could lose. And then you have upside where you can make 140% in a couple of weeks. That's what I love about options. It's kind of mindless. your risk is defined, and the upside's good. Now, I will say I messed up a little bit in NEO. We have some calls that we own with nothing against them, but when it stalled for the first couple of days, I said if it stalls for a couple of days, we're going to sell premium against it. So we sold above it. So we're a little bit capped on the upside for part of the position, but it still worked out well.
Adam, I got a question. I got a question about a stock. Do you ever trade NNE, or have you heard about that from anyone in your group? This is one of the nuclear stocks that gets passed around all the time. Ticker NNE.
I haven't, but I'll add it to my list right now. I'm a big list builder.
Let's go.
Yeah,
Nano nuclear, it's a wild child. I've seen it in my filter, but I've never traded it either. So I have scanners that are scanning certain stocks, and then I have scanners that are scanning the entire market, just looking for movers. This one pops in there all the time, but I've never actually made a trade on it here. It is wild. This thing moving too. You're talking about $2 a day, $14 a stock. Like this thing was up at $17 2 days ago. Then it's down to 13. Now it's back at 14. This thing's a little wild child.
In essence, we're really just surfers looking for good waves. Like, hey, it's like,
what a great analogy.
Have you ever been down to Mexico? You got to try the one in Mexico. Oh, you'll catch some good ones. Go to California. That's what it is. Like NNE, go for a ride. You know, and I think if you know how to trade the right way and your risk parameters are efficient, you can trade almost anything. Obviously, there's certain things. If there's a lack of volume, the only thing we want to avoid is a lack of liquidity. So my first thing, whenever anyone tells me about a stock, I'll start to watch it because I want to get used to the speed of the move. Kind of like the old Knights if they're running a gauntlet, right? You know how you watch it for a little bit before you go? Same thing here. I want to watch it, see how it's moving. And then I just want to make sure that I'm going to be able to get in and out. The only thing I don't like is if someone, like I won't trade a stock where I feel like I could buy it and then there's no exit, especially with the options. When the options market spreads out to $1, so you get the move, but you can't get out, that bothers me. So I try to avoid that.
What are your volume thresholds?
Volume, I like the stock to be trading in the millions. The options, I want to see the spread together and stay together. So sometimes you'll see a spread, like if it's moving one day there, but then the next day it gaps out. So usually I watch a stock for a couple of weeks before I trade it for the first time. Unless like I just itching to get in and then I'll get in small. But what I tend to do is I get to know stocks well. And then once I feel comfortable, then I could be more aggressive. So, you know, when I look at my list right now, things I've been trading over and over, like JMIA is a stock that was a $13 stock. It's like the Amazon of India.
Yeah.
It went down to 4. Like, I know how this moves. I know I could get in and out. I've collected 50 cents credit on a $5 stock, which is unbelievable. So I traded that 3 or 4 times. Palantir, I love. Know how that moves. Traded that a lot. NEO now. The Russell I'll trade. Uber. So.
Are you usually primarily through options, Adam, or do you ever get down dirty and actually trade the stocks too?
So I was just looking at my screen. The SMR, I bought the option first. And so what I'll do for my community is a lot of times I'll get in first. It's not like I'll get in and I'll recommend it 5 minutes later. I'll get in and trade a stock for a couple of weeks.
Feeling it out.
I feel like I know it, then I'll start putting trades on it. So SMR, I bought the options and it had that gap out where it was like, it went up, but the spread was like $1 by $1.50. And I was like, oh. So then I started trading the stock instead there because
the option spreads is too wide.
Exactly.
Yeah. Sometimes the market makers just want to like take you for way too much on some of these options where it's, you know, Joel talks trade by appointment only. Sometimes these options are trade by appointment only on some of these smaller stuff. So you really got to watch the spread, folks. Great point by Adam.
And Dennis, I'll tell you, in terms of stocks, I just think it's 2 different mindsets. Like I had a separate account that did really well where I just kind of bought stuff and I didn't even open it for like weeks at a time or months at a time, like a buy and hold kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's just a different strategy for myself. When I wake up and I'm sitting down, I'm going to be more active. So it's harder to hold something.
Yeah.
If your strategy is to be more short term, but like, you know, would I mind selling a put in Amazon and taking ownership of the stock at a much lower price? No. You know, something like that. But that's not for what I do with people. It's much more active.
Yeah, and it seems like you're trading the active stocks too, like the storied stocks that are moving, volume spikes, so liquidity is probably there for you to get in and out of them easily. I mean, this is what day traders look for, is action, right?
Yeah, so it's not day trading. I was a day trader for over 10 years, more like swing, like weeks, a couple weeks, maybe going out a month. If I'm doing the diagonal calendars with options, I'll go out a couple months. And then my ideal thing is if I could have the volume without news correlating. Like the nuclear, it came out, so I'm going to ease in because I missed that first move. So everything's smaller as it consolidates. But my favorite thing is like the NEO. NEO is kind of trending before China stocks went nuts, and then it came out with the news. So like if you could identify, like you said, you're always looking around for the movers. If you could find the volume coming in before the news, those are more fun plays for me.
Adam, just along the lines of Dio here, talk about the China move and how you're approaching it. Definitely a big move. How you besides Neo, you're looking at any other stocks? China, big rally. I saw Kyle Bass kind of downplaying it. He gets stuck with a 30% rally. It's hard to chase. Any comments on the recent rally in China?
Well, I think it's weird when they say it's kind of like obvious what's going to happen, and it does happen. Like with everything in American markets, it's usually like not that easy. Like remember, we thought the market was going to get really hit on Brexit, but it didn't. And elections, everything kind of goes opposite of what you expect in a lot of things. But with China, it's kind of like you knew it was coming, it happened, and then it rallied. And it's weird how transparent it was. That was my only take on that. Was like, I'm trained to be skeptical of everything, and that just seemed like an easier move that I just kind of missed.
Do you have any plan for some of these Chinese names when they get off Golden Week, their holiday that they're currently on right now?
What's Golden Week? I don't even know that.
I'll be honest with you. I'm not sure what encompasses all of their holidays either, but I know they're on a market holiday right now for the rest of the week. So we're likely to see less participation here. I'm just wondering if you expected any type of movement from the stocks when that expires or when that ends.
So I don't, by the way, I'll ask my son. He takes Mandarin, so I could ask him what Golden Week is. And
we talked about this yesterday, and it was the first time I heard about Golden Week too. I did a little bit of research into this Golden Week, though. And
catalyst. You talk about trading in front of catalyst. Could there be any bigger catalyst in China than Golden Week? I mean, it's golden.
Well, there's a reason that we hadn't heard about it, because actually the exchange is only closed for one day, apparently. So they talk about this Golden Week, the whole week being closed, but apparently the exchange is only closed for one day. Again, I don't know what you can read. I just did quick research, 10 minutes of research there, but that's what they were saying, is that even though this Golden Week is supposed to be October 1st to 7th, apparently, and again, if I'm wrong, correct me here, but I read that the exchange is only one day.
I think Golden Week would be like cool hats, T-shirts. I'd like to wear like a Golden Week hat and be like, what's Golden Week? I can't tell you. But no, in terms of China, I typically don't trade China stocks because there's a lot of movement overnight because they have different market hours. So their stocks could be much more affected where you come in and you have a wider gap up or down. So I feel like I lose less control. So while I have traded them, it's kind of like oil. I stopped trading oil a long time ago because there were so many random news bites that would make it move in the middle of the day that I was like, forget it. I like something that's a little bit more on path, if that makes sense.
Real quick here, just to kind of put a bow on this. So we have an insider that's actually in Taiwan, follows a lot of the stuff going on in China here in Benzinga Pro. Shout out to Benzinga Pro. Reminder that Shanghai and Shenzhen stock markets are closed from Tuesday, October 1st through Monday, October 7th. Historically, the government has attempted to prop up the stock market ahead of major holidays, which might have been what we saw here.
And Hong Kong is only closed for one day, so it's
there you go.
It's flashed on the screen. So Hong Kong only closed for one day, where the rest of the market's apparently closed all week.
What are you guys looking at for port strike plays? I know you were talking about it before.
We were just doing it.
Yeah.
We talked FedEx, UPS. It was from Barron's on the weekend. They cited that this could benefit them because of air freight. So
you're not going to chase
FedEx,
anything bearish because, right?
yeah. So they think this is good for FedEx and UPS. These were the two stocks that they were citing to benefit. They thought the rails could suffer from it. So this was all from the Barron's article. They did a pretty nice job on it. FedEx is trading up $2 here this morning, so it's showing that Barron's is probably right. That this is obviously, impacting those. UPS is up slightly as well. And I do see the rails trading slightly down on it. We got NSC trading down at Buck Norfolk Southern. So it looks like FedEx, UPS benefit, maybe rails suffer to a certain extent.
Wonder if there's any like outside the box drone plays or anything like that.
Drone delivery. Now that would be something.
That's the future, right?
Yeah,
that's coming, man. I'm telling you, that's coming. I love my AV. You want a stock to trade? AV. I have this in my long-term portfolio. Now they're doing warfare drones, but they could get into other stuff here too. I mean, this company makes the coolest stuff. If you actually go to their site, AeroVironment, and you watch one video on their warfare drones, you're just like, this is just incredible. The stuff that they're coming up with it's just unbelievable. So actually, this is one of the bigger positions in my long-term portfolio, and I'm sticking with it. This is a cool story and a cool stock to trade. A little thin to trade sometimes. You go sometimes a buck wide, so it's not like super liquid. It's not a story that a lot of people talk about. But you want a drone play, warfare drones, AV.
Maybe like a Palantir kind of story where it comes out with the technology that translates beyond warfare into everyday environment.
I think so. I think it could.
Oh, someone just mentioned Zim.
Shipping.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
Zim.
they're getting hit. Yeah, they're getting hit on it, obviously. That's an obvious one. So, yeah, thank you. Zim actually has been rallying, too. We're talking Zim Integrated Shipping, Zebra IM. $16, $26 in September. It's getting hit here this morning.
Doesn't it have the one with this like crazy dividend?
Yeah, the dividend is based off their profits. So if they do really well, you get a gigantic dividend from this.
Yeah,
I'll bring up one more fun outside the box idea. Yeah, this is going out in the future though. This isn't near term. So I was having a kind of this is like what we're doing now. I just kind of end up doing every day. We're talking about like the next NVIDIA. Like where could the next NVIDIA be?
Ooh, I like that.
And someone brought up super quantum. They said we're not there yet, but like that could be the future. I don't know if you guys have ever discussed that or anything. I'm like starting to watch, because I feel like there's so many people that are like, you either hear a story about one of your buddies that owned NVIDIA that made a lot of money, or you just feel like you missed it. And now I'm like on the hunt for the next NVIDIA,
I think so. So what's the play? What is it? The stock?
Super quantum. It's supposed to be like.
What's the symbol?
What's the
no, it's the technology.
Oh, the technology.
So is this like QUBT and QBTS or whatever?
QBTS, IONQ, and then
gotcha.
And then after they told me about it, so what I did with IONQ was I just sold a put just to start watching it, and then they signed like a $54 million deal last week, and so it shot up $1.50. I think they said it's years away, and so it's just starting to watch these things. I want to be able to have this recorded on here. And so, like, if years from now, super quantum explodes.
It is, man.
I'm just putting it out there into the universe in a bunch of places so I could get credit one day.
Yeah, that's smart.
This is a pretty good place to do it. All right, we've been on the line with Adam Mesh. Adam Mesh Trading Group joins us here, part of T3 Tuesday. Great extended segment, Adam. It's always a pleasure having you on. We'll be down you up again real soon.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I think we have, for the first time, usually I'm just doing free interviews, but I think we have a link to send out. It's right there in the QR code. So that was when I got my company back, I took all my services with me and I put them into one. And so now we have all the people that came over with me, but now we're starting to let new people in, which has been cool. And that's where I traded Neo, Jemaya, Palantir. So everyone's been happy. It's been going well, lifestyle service, and I'm really enjoying it. I get good ideas from it too. So hopefully meet some new people on here. That'd be great.
That sounds great.
You.
Thanks, Adam.
Thanks, guys.